That's it for the patch.
Hello.
That's it. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.
We'll be back next week.
Can you hear me? Hello, internet?
They thought we were mimes before, so.
Well, we were. They really caught on to it, yeah. We were all stuck in an invisible box. So this is, for those of you that are listening to audio podcast, this is take 2.
Yeah.
We've been here once
you
before.
weren't listening to it before,
or
so.
really any not live version.
And this is this episode of The Patch is brought to you by NatureBox and the Loot Crate. I am joined by today...
Ashley.
Meg.
And Ryan, and the spirit of Gus, who's been deported.
I just want to say...
I'm going to throw that out there. He's been deported. I'd flip this over
Rude.
too, but the sand's already halfway out. Who knows? Time.
Is it half full or half empty?
Both. It's in a state of duality that we cannot yet express in scientific terms.
Stick it in a Mobius loop and let's see what happens.
There we go.
I don't want to start any rumors. I don't want to start any conspiracy theories.
All right.
I don't want to start any of that. I'm just saying, we said Gus was a government assassin. Suddenly stuff doesn't work.
It's true. They cut the feed.
Stuff doesn't work. Started out with jokes.
Yeah.
Stuff doesn't work. Okay? Just saying. Just putting it out there. Make your own conclusions.
Oh,
Here's
and now
why-
they're going to
I
cut
really,
it again.
Now I wish somebody could jump up and be like,
Here's why I don't think Gus is an assassin.
All right.
We're still living.
oh, for now.
Wouldn't we be like at
We're
the
his
top
cover.
of, Wouldn't we be like at the top of his list?
Yeah,
We're here
we're
to
his
shield for
cover.
him.
Absolutely.
If we weren't here, he would have to be here.
He
couldn't be
wants
off
you to
killing.
think
You're
that.
saying we're like his beard?
Yes.
We're all his beard.
We are the beard of Gus.
We are his creepy mustache.
Well, welcome back. We're going to talk about video games.
Yes.
Some more.
It's
We did
okay.
a little bit. It was the best discussion ever. We solved all about every problem with the video game industry. We solved it. Also, the debt crisis.
We announced Half-Life 3.
We brought peace to the Middle East. It was amazing.
And then
None
we
of it
lost
was
it.
recorded, though.
It's all gone.
As business happens. So, what was we? Oh, so we were discussing.
Yes, I got to start off
Do
by
you want
saying
to? What were you gonna say?
Nintendo sucks.
Oh.
And there's
you
a
didn't
big
think you were going to have any
surprise.
more rage left, but here it is.
Look at the-
No,
I
it's-
can see you getting worked
it's a
up over
brought it
simmer.
back.
It's a simmer. It's a slow simmer. It's
Let's see
a
if we can get you
wasted
to a boil.
afternoon.
So we're starting with the facts, which is Nintendo released a new Let's Play policy, which is if you're going to release content with their games, doing a Let's Play in their games, you are going to split ad revenue with them. But basically, they're going to take all the ad revenue. You're going to submit saying that you would like some of that ad revenue, please. And then if they approve it, they will give you part of like 40% of
give you 60% back.
of the revenue after YouTube takes their
Right.
cut.
So what ends up happening is, I think it varies how much the cut YouTube takes, but let's say 45%. I've heard that as an average, and then so there's 45% and there's 55%, and then of that 55%, Nintendo will take 40%.
Yes.
30% if you register your entire channel, which I believe means you don't do anything
Yeah.
but
You
Nintendo
dedicate
on
it
that
purely
channel.
to Nintendo.
So let's be realistic, 40%.
The Miyamoto shrine of the internet, basically.
I have one of those in my room. And so then they'll take 40% of that, which leaves the Let's Players, people making the videos, with 33% of the overall total revenue. The ad revenue there is
That's math.
I did say
I don't know enough to
Nice.
dispute that, so I'm gonna go ahead and say that's good
Someone's
math.
multiplying percentages.
yeah. So of course with Let's Play groups like Achievement Hunter, I mean,
Yep.
how does that affect you guys?
Well, I mean, basically it drives us away from doing any kind of Nintendo content because we don't want to share revenue. We don't have to depend on Nintendo. We're not obviously not going to be an exclusive Nintendo partner. So we've got, PlayStation, we've got Xbox, we've got PC. There's no reason for us to give up income to do their games.
Sure. Now, playing devil's advocate because somebody has to.
You realize that the devil's
No,
advocate
look at me like
works
that.
for the devil.
He just advocates on behalf of the devil.
It's like his PR company, man.
Yeah.
It's like it's not really.
Like a lawyer who doesn't get to choose who
Also-
they
I
defend.
I like that you've made Nintendo the devil. I didn't even have to cast them in that light. Yep.
It's a
Ryan
figure of
wins.
speech.
But go ahead.
So Nintendo's argument is that because this content is made using their game, which they, of course, most of these games are going to have teams of multiple hundreds of people over the course of multiple years to create them, and then these people get a hold of them and spend a couple hours and they make all the money, and YouTube feels entitled to that because the games, because this form of entertainment is made utilizing their copyrighted, their property, basically. And they feel like they should get a cut of that because if not for the game, you wouldn't have the video.
Wow.
Sure.
Hey, not for that camera over there, we wouldn't have this video. Do you think we owe Blackmagic some money because we're streaming on their
You just
camera?
called up their camera. Free
I did.
advertising.
There you go.
Good job.
New Blackmagic cameras.
Which brings me to my devil's advocate point, because Ryan is the devil. Ryan's side of the argument.
Look, no one's arguing that.
No,
There's,
I don't
there's
think they
devils
are.
everywhere on both sides of the issue, apparently.
There's just devils.
All right.
Just devils
There's
for
no
days.
good person here.
No one wins. Which is that you're not just uploading video of the game. You are adding your personality to the video. There is other reasons for people to tune in. And the bigger issue is it's basically free advertising. Why you paid for that game. That is yours. You own it. You should be able to make a video in it and basically encourage other people to buy the damn game.
The argument that PewDiePie made was that he feels as though, don't you quirk your eyebrow.
You throw out the PewDiePie name. I got to quirk my eye. It's all right.
I'm
It's
just
all right.
saying, but he made a very good argument.
You're too cool for PewDiePie.
Which
I wasn't
is
going to say it. Thanks
he-
for my devil's advocate over here.
I'm sorry. My client is not too cool. I mean, is too cool for...
Yeah, whatever. We
too
got
cool
it.
for pewds. He argues that he thinks his audience shows up for him, not for the game, and that regardless of what game he played, that they would show up.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Right,
a lot
so
of
don't
merit
play
to that.
Nintendo, which is exactly what you guys said you were doing.
I mean, there's essentially there's people that are subscribed to a channel are coming for the people on that channel. They're not just searching for a game. Now, you know, a percentage of any traffic is, hey, like when GTA comes out, people will search for GTA and find people like us or other Let's Players. But in most cases, the bread and butter of companies like ours is the subscribers who are there for us. And we can turn off your game and turn on another game.
Let's be honest, Ryan, they're there for you.
Well, I mean, I wasn't going to say it, but
now she's the devil on your shoulder.
Man, there's
Devils
devils aplenty.
everywhere.
You got like devil over here, little devil over here.
I want Ashley to be the Yoko Ono of Achievement Hunter. Just like, you're the best. I am the best.
Wait, what?
I want you to turn everyone in Achievement Hunter against each other by saying they're the best, that people only tune in for them. You got this.
I'm worried.
Hey,
But, I mean,
Michael, everyone likes you the best.
hey,
Rage Quit has the most views on that channel. Just saying.
not on our channel.
Just saying.
It's on Rooster Teeth.
Sorry, we got distracted.
But I mean, it's like, what-
By trying to
plots.
ruin your jobs.
That's weird.
It's like, at what point is what you paid for yours?
That's true, but aren't there restrictions against things like movies that you can't show them at like in public venues, more or less, without certain things? So it's not like that's new per se.
That's kind of the weird thing here. So video games are in a weird spot where they're sort of narrative work, but they're also sort of collaborative work. And I think this thing could kind of fly in terms of them wanting to own the narrative parts of a Let's Play. So if you were to do a single player experience and just go through the whole game, kind of like our
Like a
full
full
play
play.
by Michael, yeah, and show
Or the best achievement
cutscenes
ever.
and show story, yeah, then that, yeah, okay, maybe you're entitled to something there because that is basically like a movie or a show. But collaborative efforts, things that are the entertainment derived just from playing the multiplayer side of these games, I don't feel like it's a tool just like any other tool, like a keyboard, like a video camera. I mean, it's what the Let's Players themselves are adding to it and doing with it that makes the content, not necessarily the platform.
I would say, which is for Nintendo, that's a hindrance to them because most Nintendo games that people are playing and making Let's Plays in are multiplayer games. They're Mario Parties or Mario Karts or things like that, where people aren't tuning in for the story. They're not going to watch it and then go, well, I've played that game before, now I'm not going to get it. Or I know how that ends, so I'm not going to purchase it. They see that and say, they're having fun. I want to have fun too. I'm going to buy that game.
That's true, although, again, devil's advocating. From Nintendo's standpoint, these videos are made, of course, using personalities, but also, again, using their stuff. Should they be entitled to a portion of the earnings as a result of that? Would you have been able to make that video and make that content without their game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll just go buy an indie game on Steam. The indie developers love it when they do that kind of stuff.
That works because there are people who are grateful for the
Yeah.
advertising. I brought up in a thing that never happened. We never had this discussion before. Previously, that Hidden in Plain Sight, the developer of that game, was over the moon when they did an Achievement Hunter video. And same for more recently, Jump Jet Rex is a friend of mine who made that game, and Michael did Rage Quit in it. And he was just so excited. Go ahead, have the game for free. Tell people about it. get it, now they're going to get it, and people go and buy it, and they realize the value in that. So because the indie market recognizes the value in Let's Players, they provide games that are not going to be taxed by them. They're not going to ask for portions of the income on it that people can play. Like if everybody shut out and said you have to pay me if you use my game, then people might be more accepting of the policy. But because there are games we get to use for free, because indie devs like that, and Microsoft came out and Devolver Digital came out and encouraged Let's Plays, there are companies who are willing to allow you to use their games for free. The policy seems a lot more stringent and shitty.
Well, they've already tried this once before where they tried to take all of the income.
Right.
And that went down in flames fairly quickly.
And this has been a sort of long process. That was like mid-2013. Mm-hmm. And then they've sort of been wiffle-waffling since then, where they'd be like, all right, we're going to back off that a little bit, and you can have this, and we'll only claim some of them, but you're not allowed to put up any videos showing the cutscenes of this, otherwise we'll just straight up take it down. Or, they've been very weird about that as a company. And they're pretty much the only company that is approaching Let's Plays this way. Like Microsoft Studios, as an example, just a few weeks before Nintendo's announcement, made their Let's Play policy. And it has a couple things in it, like no pornography and no hacking. So you can't make videos like showing people how to break the game. But otherwise, they said you go ahead, you fully monetize it, and they're going much more in that indie direction of we look at this as free advertising. Nintendo is kind of the holdout here in that they feel that their game is the benefit, or as significant enough that they should get money for that.
Well, they've always been kind of xenophobic about controlling their brand and controlling how their brand is delivered. So it seems like more of an extension kind of that too. But I think it's just going to be the same thing where it'll just drive people away from doing it.
Right.
If they want that kind of exposure, then they're going to have to remove the restrictions. If they don't care, then... And the other thing is, it seems like it'd be very hard to enforce. So YouTube's very good about catching things that are like cutscenes, where it's the same shot for everybody, and music, which is very easily replicatable. But the rest of that, there's no consistent camera, so it'd be very hard, I suspect, to catch some of those things unless they start queuing off UI, or maybe just being able to catch individual sound effects, which then Let's Players could just remove the sound altogether. How much do you have to change the game before it's like, well, you just don't have rights to it anymore?
Yeah, I always do. I do always wonder about that YouTube's filter. You hear stories about catching music from another room that someone was playing, or someone in the background is watching a TV show and it gets flagged.
Oh, yep. How'd that happen?
All kinds of stuff like that. So I wonder a lot about that filter, but
it's also user-based, though. It's a lot of people who report those things. So I think up until a point, like, YouTube won't be able to catch those Nintendo things, or Nintendo won't be able to catch them, but users will go in and report people's videos for using Nintendo.
But it's also a case of, like, Nintendo could just have someone searching for Nintendo Let's Plays and manually flagging them all day long.
And not to get away from video games, but YouTube's system is basically, if you're a big enough content creator, you can go in and say any video is yours, and they'll default give it to you, and then they'll review it later. Like, they're just going to start giving you the ad revenue from that video if you're a big enough company, and companies abuse it all the time.
Yeah.
In fact, there have been a lot of companies that have either claimed or actually used the DMCA takedown policies to actually remove videos that didn't speak favorably about their game.
That ends up creating a huge shitstorm for them. Like, it ends up always biting people in the ass, but they do try it. There was someone who did it. It was a zombie thing. Remember, they gave it to a bunch of developers, and then they only took down, or like a bunch of YouTubers.
Took down, like, the ones that
were negative.
It.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was. I don't even remember the name of the game, because screw you. That was shitty. But
you know who has that? Who has a long history of fighting against that and speaking up about it is Total Biscuit. He's done that a lot. He's had issues where they would pull stuff down. I think there was also a Jimquisition from Jim from The Escapist, or used to be Escapist. People have taken down his stuff as well because they didn't like the way it was portrayed.
Which, I mean, that's the other side of this equation is fair use. At what point is it review? Is it satire? I mean, there's a lot of things that Let's Players could do that could easily fall into those categories where you shouldn't be able to take it down. It's just that infringing on your freedom of speech.
That's that whole Taylor Swift thing that we were covering. The guy who made a blank space parody where he murdered Taylor Swift.
It was.
And then
I mean, it was admittedly in poor taste.
but
Welcome to
it
the
was
internet.
a parody. He made his own song and he just used her tune. And
But it was all original lyrics. It was original video, and Sony still took it down.
right.
Well, I mean, to this day, Vanilla Ice, right? In that other song where he's like
Under Pressure, the much better version.
No, it's da 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 da.
What is it like?
Yeah.
Da 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 da.
But there's that
Ice
clip of him
Baby.
singing, like how it's so different. Gus is rolling somewhere in his infinite space that he's gonna come get us. That we're talking about music and not games.
No, but I
Right.
mean,
Games!
but it all comes back to that same issue of like, when is it fair to use?
Right.
Who should get cuts of what?
So we can all agree that Nintendo's bad,
Yes.
and that the devil's advocate was ineffectual in making an argument, and continue on to the next topic.
Both of us identified as devil's advocate, so I'm glad that you just blanket statemented
Yeah.
that. Neither one of us
So
wins.
basically, Ryan goes, everybody but me is the worst,
No, everyone's wrong, and so we can
except for you.
move forward. Yeah, except for me.
All
I
right,
like that. I like how
good
this
job.
worked out.
Let's
Works
talk
out.
about other things now. Any suggestions?
Ryan's got the list,
The list, yeah.
Yes.
the main list.
Bring
So,
us the
hey.
list.
You're gonna be excited. Homeworld's coming back.
I know, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. In fact, I got so excited about it that I'm trying to arrange a studio visit with Gearbox.
Nice.
And
I'm so
Ashley was like
excited
the
about it.
only person who didn't get to see it at PAX South.
I was really
Aw.
sad.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I went and I watched the gameplay they released like this. Like,
It was so exciting to watch. I admittedly did not play it when it first came out. I knew nothing about it and only went to the Homeworld booth to check it out, or to the Gearbox area to check it out, because I knew how excited Ashley was about it and wanted to do a piece on it for the No. It's amazing. Like, it is such a passion project to hear them talk about. They hired the same voice actress. It turns out one of the voice actress
I got goosebumps.
in the first Homeworld game was pregnant. So when they did the second Homeworld game, her voice had changed. So they fired her and they got a new person. But we went back. We got the original voice actress because we like her better. And
Did they have to knock her up to get her to sound the same? Or
they didn't say anything
That was
about
are
it.
you willing to have another child for this
Insemination?
game?
But-
That was a perk. Wait, do people's voices change when they
I
get
guess
pregnant?
so.
didn't
I learned
think so.
something about children.
I played Homeworld. I think I was in high school at the time, and it was really the first like real time strategy game. No, maybe Warcraft was first. I don't remember. But it was the first space RTS I ever played, and it was one of those games that I went into it. I didn't know a lot about it. I thought the box was super cool, and someone had told me that it was good, and so at the time that's how I bought games.
So peer pressure, basically.
yeah, why not?
Sometimes it does good things too.
Peer recommendations.
Okay. That's
Word of mouth.
Yeah, there you go.
And so I bought it, I played it, and immediately was floored. It took classical music and added it, like symphonic music, to space. Space was not boring. It wasn't black. It was these like beautiful multicolored nebulas. Combat was three-dimensional. Like you could like loop around and like come down at a dude and have like you managing all these ships.
Let me just tell you, you think space wasn't boring or ugly, but when you watch it next to the new Homeworld,
my God.
old space was boring and
Oh my
ugly.
God, no, I'm so excited.
Like, it's just, it is, and they did scene for scene. They got the same artist. He redrew everything. It's incredible how much attention to detail. It is scene for scene, shot for shot, the exact same game.
One of the things I really love about the story of how Homeworld Remastered is even becoming a thing is that I believe it was Randy Pitchford, the Gearbox chief, who's a huge fan also of Homeworld, and so when it came up for auction, because I guess THQ owned it at the time.
Poor THQ.
Poor THQ, pour one out. He was such a big fan of the franchise, regardless of the fact that it had been, nothing had been done with it for like 10 years, that he bought it up immediately. And a bunch of the ex-Homeworld developers had gone and they were developing a spiritual successor. They were calling Project Blackbird, Operation Blackbird. I'm pretty sure there was a Blackbird involved in any case. And so they were developing a spiritual successor. And so they went out to them and said, hey, guys, we actually got the Homeworld IP. You should come back and make this. Shipbreakers.
That sounds good.
Wait.
I'd play that.
I'm not sure where Blackbird is. They might have been the studio name.
I think it was.
I think that's the case.
Yeah.
And
That sounds like a pirate.
So they made Shipbreakers, and now they're bringing it back under the Homeworld umbrella to be not just a spiritual successor, but an actual successor, and it's Homeworld Shipbreakers. I got it right
Nice.
finally. Sorry, it took my
Hey,
brain
you
a
brought
little
it all
bit
back
to.
around,
It took
yeah.
my brain a little bit to
Like you
work
looped
out.
it in there.
But I'm so happy that it's getting an HD remaster because I'm just like it's been so many years. I can't wait for more people to discover the franchise and have that amazing experience with it that I did.
Yeah, not only did they up-res it, but they also moved it into the Homeworld 2 engine, so that'll help
They didn't
graphically
just-
it look a little bit better.
They almost didn't even just up-res it; they remade it.
Well, they did. They
remade everything.
fully remade everything. I thought it was really interesting actually when Blackbird was, so they got the IP and Blackbird was working on what they were calling a spiritual successor, and Gearbox reached out and said, so is it actually a sequel or is it a spiritual successor? And they're like, it's a spiritual successor. And they were like, oh, well, we wanted to hire you to make a Homeworld game. And they were like, okay, actually it is a Homeworld game. We were just worried that you were going to sue us. And they were like, no, we want you to make that. I was like, okay, cool. We lied. It's actually a Homeworld game.
It's halfway done already. Here you go. You want to play it today?
They were
Come play it
literally
today.
like, okay, great. We thought you were going to sue us, so we lied. And then they brought him in under the umbrella.
Funny story. The I guess like the Alex Garden, who like Homeworld was kind of like his brainchild. When I first started in the industry, I made fan sites for games, and one of the games that I made fan sites for, my very first fan site ever was a game called American McGee's Alice. And it got to be, you know, very like large in that particular fandom. And so I met American McGee, and he invited me to an E3 party that he was having when he was going to announce. I think they'd announced American McGee's Oz, which I'm not sure if that ever got off the ground.
I never saw that game.
Or
no.
I think it was Oz, but they were trying to get that going, and so he had a big party. And I met Alex Garden there. I was with my boyfriend at the time, and I was like, would you like to get married? I full on proposed to him, and he was like, if I knew that video games were like all that I needed to get chicks, I would have done this way sooner.
But you didn't get married, and I think that's sad. And
No,
that's
but I
I
did run into him like 8 years later, and he was like, wait a minute, you proposed to me. And I was like, yes, I did.
I love the idea that you started as like the biggest fangirl of the video games that you now report on.
It's so exciting. like here's the thing is like I'm still the biggest fangirl now. I just like get paid for it
Exactly. I think
instead of having to like pay for all the servers myself.
my goal in life is to get successful enough that I can just be like, remember that game I liked? Let's make a new one. Like, I'll
Bring
just
me
buy
another.
it. Yeah, I'll buy
I
it.
order a sequel.
Exactly. Like Trilobite just resurrected themselves to make a new Seventh Guest game, and I was like, I did it with my mind. It was me.
Well, maybe
before we
if we're
discover
very
what
lucky,
else-
we'll get that with Battletoads.
Before we discover what else Meg has made with her mind, I'm going to read this real quick. Drop the candy bar, drop the potato chips. They're not good for you. Do what I do what we do. They're right over there. They're delicious. Get delicious, guilt-free snacks at NatureBox, which offers hundreds of nutritionist-approved snacks to choose from the bold flavors you crave. Instead of succumbing to the old vending machines or convenience store junk, get a selection of tasty, crave-worthy options from NatureBox and feel better about snack time. So in the afternoon slump, when I'm hungry and irritable and I'm starting to act more like Michael because he's not the best at Achievement Hunter, do what I do. Grab sriracha roasted cashews or Peruvian roasted corn nuts or Asiago cheese crackers from NatureBox. So good and so much better for you than other snack options out there. And now I want to give you a chance to try NatureBox for free with a trial box featuring 5 of their most popular snacks. You heard me, free snacks. Start your free trial right now by going to naturebox.com/thepatch. You know you're going to snack. Get smart about it with NatureBox. Go to naturebox.com/thepatch to get a free trial box of delicious snacks. So Meg, have you created anything else with your brain?
Apparently, I created a lot of creep-tastic moments by breathing on the mic, and I'm sorry, everyone.
That's
I think
the
I
power of
literally was
NatureBox.
sitting like this or something, and I didn't realize it was picking
Love it
me
so
up.
much.
So it should
If we
be
go
like. Apparently, I've been breathing. In
That was a different kind of sound. Like,
I'm sorry, everyone.
We're sorry, and you're welcome.
I think at one point I
this
noticed I was like,
sensual
I'm
episode
pretty
of The
close
Patch is
to
brought to you
this.
by...
Speaking of which, you know who my favorite Achievement Hunter is? It's got to be Jack.
Oh,
I mean, he just
Jack?
cares so much.
I mean, I'm right here.
He's the best.
Do we have to do this?
Oh, tell the truth, or just do we want us to lie?
Speaking of everything old is new again, Indigo Prophecy's coming out for iOS.
Did you just call Jack old?
I'm older than him, so no. Only barely. Did you guys play the original Indigo Prophecy?
I did not.
No. Well, it was good.
Tell
you
us
should.
about it,
Great.
Ryan.
Move on to the next story.
It's the same company that made Hard Rain. Did you play Hard Rain? No. All right. Blank looks all around. Hard
Ryan.
Rain. It's a great game. You should play
Hey,
it.
Ryan, is it on PC?
Well, Indigo Prophecy was.
I was trying to give you a chance to, like, do your PC thing.
Do you mean
'Cause I know
Heavy
you
Rain?
like it.
Heavy Rain. What did I say? Hard Rain? Heavy Rain?
Hard Rain. I don't
All
know
right,
that
I'm
game.
not gonna lie.
But I do know Heavy Rain.
I didn't play Heavy Rain. I played like 10 minutes of it. I played a lot of the of Indigo Prophecy.
Hard Rain sounds like
Or-
the porn version
Hard
of
Rain.
it.
bad, but now
Hey.
that I know that you didn't know the game,
We
name,
can't.
I don't feel
Unfortunately,
that
we
bad.
can't. If it's made by Microsoft, we couldn't stream it now. That or
It's
Spartan
no.
Sexy Time, also canceled.
Hard
Heavy
Rain.
Was that also a game? Hard Rain. That sounds familiar.
Look,
It's a book.
Look, Hard Rain. No, wait, I'm thinking of Acid Rain. I was like, it's a game
All right.
where you just have to try and leave as many like dirty marks as possible on windshields of cars.
Okay. Just going around
I've never heard of
staining. All right. That sounds like another one of those Japanese visual novel games. Like, I'm a pigeon. Now I'm staining windshields.
No, now I'm dating the rain.
Hatofil
Right.
ruined boyfriend windshield.
It got
It
weird.
must.
It got weird. It was like, and then it weird.
No, okay. So Fahrenheit is also what it was called in Europe. It's very similar. If you played Heavy Rain, the style of it will feel very familiar. It's got a lot of that kind of quick time actions. It's very
Heavy
intense
Rain was
story.
like rotate this and then over
Yeah.
here to open the window.
They
like
do
it was
a
a lot
lot
of really tactile movements.
Yes,
movements.
they did the same thing. It does a lot of really weird. I don't know how it will translate to iOS. I assume it'll be one of those where you have to hold the screen and do it. But it did a lot of really interesting things with thumbsticks.
Huh. Yeah.
Like your thumbs swelled 3 sizes by the time you were done.
they grew
because
3
were just
sizes
like,
that day.
"Buh." Yeah. You were like that guy that's the arm wrestler that has the one arm that's like 3 times the size of the other arm. That was what your thumbs would look like.
After Indigo Prophecy.
Yes.
Yeah, Heavy Rain was the same way. I just remember it being really awkward. Like, open the car door.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, well, okay, around and hook. But
yeah, I always suck at that.
no, the game started off with you come back to consciousness in a bathroom having somebody's blood on your hands and there's a dead body in there.
I thought you were going to mention something about missing a kidney.
No, you still have all your
In
kidneys.
As far as you know.
As far as you know, I don't think it comes
I
up
think
in the
at
story.
any point in time, you have no idea how many kidneys you have, right? Like, you wouldn't know right now if
It's
you only
true.
had one.
If I was feeling around, I like to think I would know.
Yeah.
You feel like there's like a little gap there.
Suddenly, the second Diet Coke of the day made my side hurt. I must be missing one.
You wouldn't know.
That's true. But yeah, if you haven't played it, pick it up. Especially, I think on iOS it'll translate pretty well because it wasn't. It's been a while, so the graphics.
It's so
in the game
weird
doesn't
how
have-
many old games now come to iOS.
It's a great second market for those type games.
You know what game I thought did a really good job of thumbsticks, and I thought it would actually translate really well to the Wii, and it would also probably do well on touchscreens if they could handle it. Is Okami.
Really?
So I don't. Did you? It's the only game to out Zelda.
Yeah. The whispery voices at the beginning are my favorite.
It's crazy. If you're not familiar with Okami, it's Zelda-like in that it's open world, then with a whole bunch of dungeons. You are Amaterasu, like a wolf god, sort of, and you have to go through a world that's kind of been cursed and dark and not all that cheery, and make it beautiful again. And you cast spells, basically, by tracing different shapes. So there'd be like a spiral, and that would do one, or you would draw a circle around a tree, and that would then make the tree blossom. And so you do that. It was all context sensitive. You could do different spells, different places, and they would help you to progress through the game or the particular dungeon or what have you. By the way, stunning game, has aged very, very well. I believe an HD version came out for PS3 last year. Amazing. But you'd use a thumbsticks for it. I always actually thought that the Wii was the perfect place for it. And it did come out on the Wii because you'd use like gesture to do it instead. Even better, touchscreens.
Yeah, that would be. There are some games that don't. When you said gestures, I was like, oh, that'd be perfect. But Resident Evil 4 came to the Wii, and that's the worst game to have motion controls on because if you're even remotely jumpy, Leon just turns around and you're.
What's going on? Oh god!
Which
oh god!
Leon is.
Absolutely am.
Right? Like, how can you not be? But it immediately reacts. I remember being turned around and being like, Leon, you idiot. It's me. I know. I'm sorry. But
look, it's getting you in the moment. It wants you to see how nervous you are. If you're getting jittery, then it's like,
I guess that's
Switch.
true.
Yeah.
And Okami on the Wii makes me think of, that's when they used the IGN photo. Do you remember that whole
do
thing on
remember
their
that.
box art? They had like an IGN watermark because they had just pulled it off of the website.
Yeah.
nice.
The things that we remember about games.
Yeah, I was actually really sad when that studio went under because I always irrationally hoped for a sequel or something building on that. Another game I always wished for was a Psychonauts sequel.
Oh,
I think a
Psychonauts
lot
was
of
awesome.
people loved
Why didn't
Psychonauts.
get us? Well, I guess
It actually wasn't a commercial success.
No.
But it was weird to me, and this I didn't get the chance at the time because there were no I wasn't doing podcasts or anything like that. So let me just put out my little soapbox now,
All right.
10 years later, maybe.
You get on your
maybe.
soapbox.
breathe away from
Not
the
quite
mic.
10.
Meg, you start trying to focus with your mind to see if you can get a Psychonauts sequel going. But all right.
So, primer for Psychonauts, for those who haven't played it, it's a platform puzzle game by Double Fine, done in a super cartoony, very stylized world where you play a kid who has snuck into a summer camp for psychics, and you end up going inside people's minds and helping them get better.
It was an original Xbox game, right?
So-
Xbox, and I don't know if it made it to the PS.
That was the thing about it, is it came out on Xbox,
Uh-huh.
it came out on PlayStation, and it came out on PC. And I always thought it was a huge miss that it didn't come out on a Nintendo platform, because with the cartoony stylized nature and the fact that it was a platformer, that would have been the perfect fit. That's what they do. It's the market for it.
I don't know. That may have been. It was a kind of dark game. It's maybe a little out of the average Nintendo wheelhouse.
It dealt with some darker issues, but in kind of a lighthearted and fun manner.
It did, but you were going into some broken people.
You did, but you made them better.
You did.
They were also, those worlds were so cool. There was the one where you went into, it was a descendant of Napoleon, I think, who was always they felt like they didn't live up to Napoleon, and it was this whole patchwork battlefield, but in a cute way. And there was the one that was the running of the bulls. It was a time you had to go through a corridor with timing because the bull would keep coming by. Oh man, it's so good. Not to mention, Ryan, I think you'd like this one, is the one with the milk.
The one with the milk.
Yeah, it was a level of it's all CIA spooks, and it's very
remember the milk
conspiracy theory, and it's I am the milkman, my milk is delicious. That's the one quote I remember. It's the milkman was the savior, and all these CIA guys were trying to I don't know, capture the milkman.
Wow. I mean, he's got the premium white. Got to get that. Can't have it imported just anywhere.
Yeah, that's true. But that game was amazing. It never got a sequel. I guess it didn't do well enough commercially. I'm going to go ahead and blame its release because the game itself was so good. It was very flawed. It was very, had some camera issues and all that. But at the time, I couldn't care less about any of that because I had such an amazing time playing it.
You know what the game needed? An open market of Let's Players playing it to get the word out about it.
Give it free advertising. Ryan, I wanted to let you know that aside from my soft breathing that everyone's commenting on, some people have said that Hard Rain was a Left 4 Dead 2 DLC.
Ah!
Also a
I knew it was
shitty,
something.
also a shitty action movie.
Wait, oh.
Oh,
with
no, I
Christian
remember the
Slater.
movie.
So
Yes, that was it. I forgot about that.
they're coming to your rescue. Don't worry.
I knew it was a thing. How could you not use the words hard rain in a movie, game, fiction title of some ilk somewhere along the line?
Heavy Hard Rain.
Yes, that's heavy and hard. It's hail going for your face.
And also, Ashley,
Ashley
there was
Gadd.
an
There was
Okami
a-
sequel
Okami
on
did.
a DS.
Which makes me really happy. I just always thought it was another adaptation of Okami. So, assuming is 3DS backwards compatible? I'm not sure where my DS is, but there's something I need to go play right now.
It's
All right.
fantasy life. You're
ask.
continuing
No,
on.
I'm done. I
know.
finished it. I totally finished it.
How many different variations of a Nintendo handheld device do you have?
Currently have or have had? Currently own?
So are you
this is an
getting
important
rid of them
distinction.
as you buy new ones?
No, I have 3 right now.
You have 3 right now, okay?
No, I hand mine down. I like to.
Okay, you pass
I like
them
to-
off.
No, I don't pass them off.
Oh.
I
Excuse
expand,
me.
I expand the family.
I see. But you keep them on a leash.
Also,
You're willing to yank them back.
I do
whenever.
good the big ends. Good work.
Ashley also does the thing where she's like, new limited edition. I had to hand mine down. I gotta get a new one. Whenever she wants a new limited edition, she's like, I'm gonna give this one away, so I have to get a new one.
It's pretty much true.
So now that you know that there's an Okami game for DS, which
Yes.
family member do you have to roll to get back the correct gaming console?
You know what? I think I actually have a DS in a storage unit somewhere. So I'm just going to go hunt that. No, I'm sorry. I have a DS Lite in a storage unit somewhere. I'm going to go hunt that down.
Do you need like an Indiana Jones hat? How deep of a storage unit are we talking here? Is it going to be in the back in a box and you're like, and then a boulder comes?
I'm going to need some plane tickets to Sydney.
You still have stuff in Sydney?
She has a lot of stuff.
Tell the truth.
I still have my entire storage unit and I haven't shipped my stuff back here yet.
How
We
much
should
is that
make
costing?
an indie game called Ashley Storage Unit, and just each month it charges you. That's the game.
Every time, whenever we have a convention down there, you should just go
I
for
really
the no,
should.
and you just fill up an extra bag and bring it back.
Yes, that would like if I had done that for like all of the shows that we've been down to in Australia since I've been a Rooster Teeth, my storage unit would still have a lot of books in it.
Oh, that's the worst. Those are the heavy ones. That'll
Yeah.
put your bag over the 50-pound limit easy.
Tell me about it.
Well, going from games that looked a little dated, did you guys see the Unreal Engine 4 demo?
Looks
the
amazing.
Paris apartment?
They're doing a weird thing with the whole Unreal Engine thing. I like it, but I'm very curious to see how it goes. Like with the whole the crowdsourcing of really like a whole bunch of different elements and games and all that. But the engine looks absolutely fantastic.
Well, I do want to put some. I'm going to be the devil's advocate for Unreal Engine 4.
Oh, sure, you do it in that voice and it sounds sexy. What are we supposed to do?
I'm the devil's
Let me
advocate.
tell you a little bit about the Unreal Engine 4.
All right,
The
it's
demo
tea.
is that he did like some Audible books, not good. It was not a good career path for him. Anyway, so we're showing on screen right now. The thing about this that I did take away from it is it looks really pretty, and obviously it's got a free cam, so there's someone walking around. But what they don't really show, and what is really impressive, is things like dynamic light, ray trace shadows. Everything that they show in that demo could easily have been baked in lighting effects, which it makes it look really good, but they still haven't necessarily showed off anything revolutionary. I think a lot of people are getting suckered in by how pretty the demo is, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they can render any of that lighting in real time.
I don't know. I went down to Epic once and interviewed some of the artists there and people who worked actually in Gears of War, and hear them talk about light. Like, it's interesting. Like, they're just like, oh, there's this new sunlight thing that we did, and it's dynamic, and then when you blink, your eyelashes make it different. Like, they are obsessed.
Well-
So I am sure there are all sorts of crazy dynamic filters we have no idea about that are in there.
One of the things that really got me when they were talking about the Tomb Raider remaster for the current gen consoles was they'd be like, there's like subdermal scattering.
Yep, subdermal.
And I'd be like, there were, that's the only one I remember, but there were like 5 of those, and I just at some point went, yeah, it looks really good.
Subdermal scattering is what makes light on skin look like light on skin. So if you were to like have a light behind my ear, you know how if this was illuminated, you'd see like the light kind of coming through the ear, kind of light diffuses through skin. And that's what subdermal scattering is.
Could you imagine going on a first date with someone and being like, what do you do? Yeah, I study light on skin.
Yeah.
Like how skin reacts
And your
to light.
skin is
Oh,
lovely.
yeah.
See, that's a pickup line,
Let
right?
me get a light behind
Yeah.
that ear.
Let me see what you got there.
Oh, that
Nice,
diffuse is
nice.
so good.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, light, the light is actually kind of the crux matter for a lot of CG rendering, because that's the hardest part in a lot of ways. I mean, we've got tools now that make surfaces look like they have more geometry than they really do. I mean, normal mapping, parallax mapping, bump mapping. There's lots of ways you can make
Bump
something.
mapping full life.
Yeah,
Bitches.
bump it all night. But it's how they interact with light that makes it really hard, because shadows, especially a soft shadow, is really difficult and really render time consuming. It's funny, I actually saw a post on Reddit Gaming where they're like, remember what games looked like 8 years ago? And it's an old screenshot of Crysis, the Crytek engine, which has been doing a lot of those lighting effects for a long time now. Some of their jungle stuff, even back then, was amazing. And it's weird that you don't see more of that carried forward into the console world yet. It's getting there.
Well, but remember when Crysis was like, one computer can run it? Crysis. Like,
1 frame per second.
He's awful.
It's like an old daguerreotype. It just
Yeah, well, remember the very first Far Cry? It's hard to look at it now and be like revolutionary. But when it came out, like that was the Crytek engine, Crytek, made that. Like that was like their first
CryEngine.
big CryEngine. Sorry, there we go. I knew that was wrong somehow. Like that was their baby, and at the time that was like, whoa, like look at the leaves move, bro.
They were the earliest ones that did the things that it was like, okay, this is an island. Oh, and you can see all the way over there? Yeah, you can go there. Just go on. Just go. No, it's fine. You can see it from here if you got a sniper rifle. Look, there he is.
Did they, or was which came first? No, Morrowind came way before that.
Morrowind was definitely an open world like that, but Far Cry had it felt like at least, much longer draw distances. Far Cry kind of worked around it by having a lot of hills and a lot of terrain and trees and things that would get in your way. Far Cry, you could see a long way.
Okay.
Or at least it's the first one that really made me feel like the draw distance was excessively long.
You mean you don't like when you walk into a bunch of bushes and there's like an invisible wall that you somehow can't climb this one ledge? I can't.
No, I know you're obviously a Olympic level gymnastics, and you can climb anything, and you've got magic tools, but
and your athletics is at 100.
Too much for you.
Yeah.
All right, pack it in, buddy. Not going to get over there today.
I hate that.
That was always one of the most frustrating parts about Kingdoms of Amalur.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
such a good
just
game.
talking about Kurt Schilling the other day for some reason.
Yeah. Oh well, Kurt Schilling sent us a really nice note about Monty.
Yeah.
Condolences. I was actually very sad when 30th Studios went under with that whole thing, because Kingdoms of Amalur was like it was a great game. The story was like, as far as fantasy goes, I'm not a huge fan of R.A. Is it Salvatore or just Salvatore?
R.A. Salvatore?
I think he's Spanish, so I always just defaulted to pronouncing it Salvatore. But
Just make it as fancy as possible.
but the game was brilliant. It was a lot of the gameplay of Elder Scrolls, but mixed with the graphic sensibilities of maybe a World of Warcraft, or a Fable, mixed with that fucking bonkers story that didn't really make any sense. But the occasional invisible wall, just
strategically placed to thwart you from having real fun.
I found that in Dead Island also. Lots of random, I can't jump up this damn ledge, just let me up the ledge. I hate those.
Yeah, there's some of that in Dying Light. I almost didn't get it out there. Hold on, we'll talk about that in just a second. I got to read this. We want to remind everyone that this episode of The Patch is brought to you by Loot Crate. Loot Crate is a subscription box service for geeks and gamers that delivers awesome exclusive items to your door for less than $20 a month plus shipping. There are 3 plans to choose from. Loot Crate makes a great gift that keeps on giving. Previous crates have included items from Marvel, Nintendo, Blizzard, and many more. Go to lootcrate.com/roosterteeth and use the code roosterteeth to save 10% on any subscription plan. Use the code roosterteeth at lootcrate.com/roosterteeth. Roosterteeth, the company I work for, which I can sometimes say, look, we have a Loot Crate.
We actually have one. What is in this one? Hold on.
Oh, are we having a
Is
we're
this
having
an
a live
unboxing? I think we're doing an
unboxing?
unboxing. Hold on.
No, rotate towards the camera. There we go. It's a shirt.
It's a shirt.
I
What does
don't know
the shirt?
what
What does the
that
shirt
is.
say?
Oh, it's Halo.
It's
I got a metallic series figure.
Screw you guys, I'm keeping the
Halo Lego thingy. Wow, this is a real mix of stuff. You got
This is
Mega
amazing.
Man
We got
and this
some
is
Mega
like
Man
a Halo,
helmet.
a Halo Mega Block.
Somebody opened it and look
Someone
at
already-
I did an unboxing.
Animals.
Who opened it already? Some cool stuff.
Oh
you
no,
animal.
I killed it.
Okay, well we broke everything. That's
Well, there you go, Loot Crate.
that's what we do here.
Toys. So what are you guys playing these days?
That's what we're playing.
So,
Oh,
I'm
sorry, you fired in there like you had something. What'd you got?
Oh, I know. I'm still playing Dragon Age Inquisition.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm still pretty bad at it, but I'm getting better.
Uh-huh.
I'm getting better. I haven't been playing a lot of games the last couple days. Mostly Dragon Age, running around, killing bears and stuff, and trying to
A
do
noble pursuit. Bears are a dangerous thing.
they really are, and
You're
just trying to
making
do.
the internet safer.
You know what I've been doing a lot the last couple of days is just any sort of correct injustice side quests.
You're bringing justice to those who don't have it.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. So after on Sunday, after we visited the hospital after Monty passed away, I actually went home and I immediately turned on Dragon Age and just lost myself in it for several hours, just, trying to do something that would save the world.
Right.
Save at least a world that I could, or like make it make sense.
Right.
Which is a nice thing I actually always really liked video games for, is you can do that. You can save the world.
Yeah.
So it's really nice to get like that little like measure of control. And then occasionally you like pick at scabs. Like I was like, I should play Limbo again.
Yeah.
And then I was like, maybe maybe this is not the time.
Limbo is a harsh game
But
regardless.
it has such a good place to. Well, I mean.
It's just, to me, Limbo is so jarring in the way that it handles death. It's so abrupt, which is very realistic, but it's so, I feel like I get to the point where I don't want to try new things in the game because I feel guilty every time. Because it's so like, oh, my cute little baby, no.
Yeah.
The big spider leg got you, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it got you real good. Things go
Yeah.
real bad for your character in that game. But if you persevere,
That's true.
What?
I mean, there's a happy ending. I spoiled it, all right? Happy things happen at the end of the game if you win.
Or does it? See,
Wait,
look at that.
Are you
I
going to
just
harsh my
unspoiled it.
thing?
I just unspoiled it.
What's up, bro? You going to harsh it?
I just unspoiled your spoiler. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing that we should address right now is how far back do we go before we can discuss things like endings in games?
Limbo was a free game a couple months ago
Yeah.
on Xbox. So I
And
think
it's been out for, several years at this point. I mean,
also
are we...
it's not really a narrative thing. I mean, you go through the game, it's more of a platformer puzzler, and then at the end it's just got a little moment, but there's not like a story that unfolds through the whole thing. I
Well,
don't
what
think
about
there's
like
even a meta
let's talk
story.
about like a Braid. Braid's been out for a long time and has a very serious story that goes throughout the whole game. When can you talk about the end of that game?
We always have this
it's a
problem
hard
with statute of
question 'cause it's
limitations.
like, I would very much like to discuss Limbo. I think the ending is very interesting in regards to certain themes. And another game that I'd like to discuss, but it requires discussing things like spoilers, is a game called Brothers.
Which I'll tease something right now. There's a recording of Brothers, I believe, that just took place today in the Achievement Hunter office. So look for that.
Wow.
I love how you were
Okay.
like mysterious.
Maybe
You kind of creeped
someone
me out. I
recorded
think they got
something.
me all creeped out on the camera. Sorry. I think I'm
You
creeped
want to breathe
out.
on the mic a little bit more?
I didn't know I was doing it.
But there are a lot of really interesting and great games out there that I think handle themes of like family and unfairness and death like really, really well. And it's actually for me, it's like a mark of the maturity or increasing maturity of the industry and for our hobby in this medium. The games are able to do that. They're able to speak meaningfully about some really heavy subjects. Like death.
Video games, in a lot of ways, have matured with around our generation. I mean, they've come to the part where they're now speaking. There's games obviously designed for adults, and that they speak to adult subjects.
Right.
So it's been something that throughout at least my life, I've been able to play pretty much everything because there's value to games that come out now just as much as there was value to games that came out when I was a kid. That are willing to take on those issues and talk about deeper things about life. That's a real mark of growth, I think, for any medium, is when you're ready to tackle things that actually might hurt, then it means a lot more.
Yeah, they're like one of the things that makes me really proud of games as a medium is the sheer number of games that can reduce me to like a bawling mess.
Oh my gosh, from games you don't expect. Professor Layton and the Unwound Future. Let me tell you about heartbreak. With
Really?
that. Oh, you want to say really? You play Professor Layton and you don't bawl at the end of that freaking game
Yeah, I haven't
twice.
played any. No, I don't.
Twice.
Okay,
I don't know.
Full play with Ryan, but wait, it's gonna have to be a sponsor cup.
Oh,
because
it
it's
is
Nintendo.
Nintendo. It really is. That's one of those games.
Way to go, Nintendo.
Anybody else who's played it, please back me up. It hurts.
All right,
Yeah.
Professor Layton
You know
had
what?
some sad times.
You know what got me was I bawl like at the drop of a hat. Like I'll see like a happy video about like a rescued puppy
Oh, I
on the
know.
internet, and I'll just be like, and Bernie will be like, "What's wrong?" And I'll be like, "It's so happy." I'm like that with everything. I cry in movies. I cried in Big Hero 6.
Oh, who didn't? Are you satisfied with your care?
Oh, you got her. She's tearing up a little. We're in HD
but
now.
the,
You can't escape.
Stop it. But one of the ones that really got me was actually Final Fantasy X. I played it through 3 times.
That was sad.
I played Final Fantasy X-2 when it came out. I played it twice. And if anyone is familiar with Final Fantasy X-2 and the bizarre storyline of like I did save the world, and then I was like, I'm gonna become a pop singer.
Wow.
Why
Where
not?
do you go from there?
Get
You
your
save the
dress
world.
sphere on.
Right.
You've got ultimate notoriety. Everyone knows your name.
Yeah. So like I played through that game twice, and to be fair, the dress sphere system is amazing. But you know, I wouldn't have played it twice, except I had to get the perfect ending to finish out my Final Fantasy X experience.
To really bring, you had to go to a whole separate game to get a conclusion to 10.
No, there's like a very beautiful closure in 10, but 10-2 opens up new possibilities, like, you know, like new hopes, and there are 3 different endings. And so the perfect ending, the one that I wanted, that's the ending to my story, was you had to get 100%. And I missed one thing in the first like 5 minutes of 10-2 before I was like, you know what? I'm going to make sure I get 100%. So I'm going to do a guide. I didn't kick a Moogle.
That's it?
That's all you
You
have to
didn't get the
do.
perfect ending because you didn't kick a Moogle.
I
Moogle.
didn't kick a Moogle in the first like 5 minutes as you're like running along the docks in like tutorial mode. And as a result, there was no way for me to get 100% in that game. I had to play through, and I didn't, like, I was going through the whole thing trying to figure out like where I went wrong and why I was only like 99.9%.
Did you kick the hell out of it? Your
Oh
second
my god!
playthrough? You're just
I
like,
kicked the shit out of that Moogle.
There's nothing left but a stain.
You know, but like that ending and the, you know, the sort of bittersweet sadness and closure of Final Fantasy X and the sacrifice there drove me to play that second game twice,
Oh my
like all the way through. And like this is a long game. We're talking like 100-hour game.
Now, the real question is, did you create a fan site for that game?
No,
Are any of your
Not a
fan
real
sites
fan.
still out there?
no.
Really? Not a one? We don't have like a look back
No, I
at where we
believe,
can find one? Or?
No, I think they can kind of be found on the Wayback Machine, except all the images are missing, so nothing's really there. But the forums, like after the site went down, some of the community members like put the forums back up, and those might still be around for at least for the Alice site. I did need sites for like the Longest Journey because I was a huge fan of that game and Black and White and Shadowbane, which is actually how I ended up transitioning into actual industry.
All right. Meg, how about you? What are you playing these days?
oh.
All right.
I was telling, no, wait.
Well, that was like a real. I'm sorry. I just feel like I just monopolized a whole bunch of time.
Well,
No.
it's conversation.
That's
It's
great.
fluid. It moves. It's cool.
I told Ashley before we started playing, she was like, think about what you've been playing this week. And I was like, I'm ashamed. I don't want to share.
You're ashamed?
We got a
That
Wii
makes it
U.
juicy.
We literally got a Wii U, like,
I'm so
I'm
excited.
so excited.
we got a Wii U in the house like 5 days ago, and we haven't stopped playing Mario Kart 8. It's not like
It's so fun.
It's like I understand like games that are cathartic, and nothing is as good as beating someone you love at Mario Kart 8 and just rubbing it in their face. Because when you're in like the way that the system works when you're in 150cc and you're doing the fast-paced action, is that if you're in second, all of the AI bullshit that it can come up with is focused on the first player it can get to, which is the person who's in second. So if you're in first, it's so easy, but as soon as you get dropped down just a little bit, the computer just screws you over so hard. So we've been playing that nonstop in our house. And also I want to start Earthbound because the Wii U
Hey.
Virtual Console you can play Earthbound on. So that'll happen soon. But Mario Kart 8, come
Mario
on.
Kart, that's okay. That's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be ashamed. I mean, a little ashamed.
I
It's
just did a
Nintendo.
little
They're
bit.
the enemy. But
Right. We talked about which we hate
They're
them.
not the enemy.
guess who we're
Nintendo-
not sponsored by anytime soon? Nintendo.
Look,
Ruined it.
Nintendo they make really amazing games. Can we talk about that?
They do make some really good
Like I
games.
know that like Ryan, Nintendo's not really like your thing because the types of games they make aren't up your alley, and your family's very young and they're not really playing games yet, and so that sort of thing is not your cup of tea.
But get
That's-
ready
that's
to
not
love them
necessarily
because they're
true.
going to become.
But
Actually,
Your cup of
you
tea.
say that. I recently yanked my Wii out of storage, hooked it up, and got Super Mario Brothers 3 for my 3-year-old to start playing.
oh,
Yeah.
that's starting
He wants to be the red one, and I'll be the green one. Shout out Eli.
What that really means is like he's like, I'm gonna go first, and then I'm gonna take your turns.
Well, actually, usually it's I can't do this part, Daddy. Here.
That's funny because Gavin and I just played through Super Mario 3 for the first. He'd never played it. I've played it endlessly, so I'm just like bouncing through the levels really quick. And Gavin's like, "What's this one? Oh, it falls down. Okay, can I have some lives? What do you got going on over there?" We also played Super Mario World. We got all the way through. We beat Bowser, and we were going through to get our. I think the highest you can get is like 97 star or whatever, or 98 star or something. So we're going through and getting all the optional things. We come back the next day, and my Super Nintendo, my Famicom is great, but my Super Nintendo has been a little bit on the fritz, and Penny knocked it when we were playing. We just booted up our game, and it deleted everything on the cartridge.
Oh my gosh.
And so now we don't play that game.
And what happened to that particular living being? Is it still?
It's not Penny's fault that she has a big snout and it knocked the cartridge.
Isn't it?
Don't say anything to Gavin. He's real mad.
Why are you playing it on? Well, I mean, that's kudos to you for actually playing it on the original console.
That's when Gavin was like, "We're getting a Wii U," and we're playing it on the Wii U. It was like what the deciding factor in getting a Wii U is because my Super Nintendo screwed it up. But I love playing on my Super Nintendo, and I'm sorry that it sucks now.
No, I mean, the truth is, I do like a lot of Nintendo games. A lot of times, if I'm very negative against Nintendo's, it's because it's good for discussion. Like, we can talk about it if someone's like, "This is bad." That being said, motion controls on Nintendo are the worst thing that have ever been invented. I mean, can we at least agree that they're terrible?
Oh my God, I heard about you in bowling.
Are you bad at bowling?
Can we talk about it?
What
Because
happened to you bowling?
I heard about
already,
16 stories about how bad you are.
All right, I spent the first 7 frames just trying to make the ball go straight.
I heard you did this.
Yes, I figured out by the end of it that overhand is the only way to make the ball go straight.
Really? What?
Yeah, Jack's like, he just keeps bowling. He's like, yeah, whatever. You just compensate for the fact that it's shitty. Like, no. I'm going to figure out how to make that ball go straight. No,
so
you
you're
can't
gonna
do it.
overhand it?
Yeah. I had to try something, right?
When the Wii first came out, I got like tennis elbow, or I got like or boxer's elbow, I guess, like from like the Wii boxing, because I would like, there's like, I'm just gonna like, there's no way. I was like fully like
oh yeah.
And afterwards I was like, ow.
I remember playing
so
tennis and being
much.
like waking up the next day and being like, something's wrong, my arm hurts. Oh, it's tennis arm.
It's like, wait, so this is what exertion feels like.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I don't work out a lot. That Wii really got me. No, but I heard so many stories about how you wouldn't accept how the controls work.
No, I'm not willing.
So that you rebelled against them.
I was willing to lose that match in Hunt just to dedicate my time to figuring out why the motion control was so bad. I couldn't do it. Like, I was trying every way to flick your wrist. I'm flicking it this way. I'm flicking it that way. I'm flicking it this way. Thing won't roll that direction. So motion controls.
He accepts
bad.
no user error on this, no matter what the story is.
I love the idea of motion controls. I really do, but they gotta work. That's my line in the sand.
All right, and we have Ryan's line. Before we,
you found my rage.
I did. Well, Ryan, I knew you had the rage in you. I knew you just had to just kind of dig deep.
But there's a lot of that classic Nintendo stuff that I actually really do like a lot. In fact, we did a countdown or top whatever that was my favorite games, and one of my favorite games was Super Mario World because I think I got to 98 on that.
I think that's the highest you can get. You can't get 100 star. That doesn't exist.
No, I think I want to say you can do 99.
Maybe it's 99, but whatever it is, it's not 100.
Probably didn't have memory address to roll over to 100. That's an extra digit there just wasn't room for in the cartridge at the time.
Before we move on at all, people say yes, Professor Layton was, and Unwound Future was absolutely tear-jerking. Lots of crying.
Thank you. And also, we still need to play Ace Attorney. I saw some people were saying that.
I am not the only person who cried at Final Fantasy X. And we're told to stay away from the dog reunites with soldier type of videos, which, by the way, that's the Ubisoft game that came out. Not this War of Mine. Was that?
That's
that
not
was
Ubisoft.
a game.
No, there were.
Valiant Hearts.
There we go. Valiant Hearts.
Oh, I saw the trailer for that, and it looked really good, and I cried almost in the trailer.
I did cry in the trailer. Remember, it came out
dog lays
E3.
down, and you're like, no, doggy, no.
Right? It's like the dog like lays down on a grave, and I'm like, what is this game? Bernie and JD played it, and I was like, I'll be upstairs. I'm not even going in another room. I want to know nothing about this.
I don't want to hear the
just
sound.
Seeing that, I was like,
you don't want to hear.
No. Give me flashbacks to I Am Legend.
Yeah. Oh, that was pretty sad.
See, more tears. That was more tears.
My dogs
We
would
should
have
just have a
abandoned me
podcast where we just
so
cry.
long before that, honestly. Like, real life dogs are like, yeah, but they're not after me, so
Sorry.
see ya. There's a whole city here full of treats that I can find on my own. Well, talking about visceral reactions to video games, Mortal Kombat X.
I do this.
Look, I think people are really taking this the wrong way, looking at all the fatalities and things in this. We should really be thanking Mortal Kombat for providing a valuable anatomy lesson to the
With
kids
the
of today.
X-rays.
So great.
Yeah.
This video, by the way, is amazing.
Poor Marshawn Lynch.
I love when he just leaves. He just walks out. He's had enough.
Look, horrible things happen to people in that game.
I think we're all focusing on the wrong things. Let's look at the friendships. Where are those? The babalities.
Did they hug it out at the end or what?
Friendships are always like their little like
that
it says
still in
in
it?
rainbow and it goes friendship and then
Doesn't-
they bake like a freaking cake for you or like a pie.
Yeah, but
Remember
isn't
that?
it like the guy's head in the cake? I mean, it's very itchy and
Like
scratchy.
we're trying, okay? Somebody shows their boobs. Let's get that. Let's
All
focus
right,
on that.
tell me more.
Suddenly Ryan's like, I'm in. I'll be there.
What key combo is that? Does that also go into X-ray mode? That doesn't sound as appealing.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah,
I never knew Sonya had implants. Is that the right character?
Sonia's in it.
Yeah. All
I'll
right.
give you
Cool.
that. Katana, maybe.
No, I just love that every time Mortal Kombat comes up, I'm like, yeah, the game is great and everything. And I'm like, how about that ESRB? Thanks.
Remember that? Remember those? I remember when that game first came out, and I couldn't fathom that it could be that violent. I remember my older brothers playing it, and Baraka used to give me nightmares, and I still, as an adult, can't look at him because he has like these arms. Do that? Ugh, it gives me nightmares.
So has this game ever been played in Australia? Did it make it through?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
there's a lot
can
of
it?
games that make it through there just heavily censored.
Do you get like
Or, like,
green
the-
blood?
What do you leave in? Like fight, black bar.
Censor.
So one of Australia's big sensitivities, they have sensitivities to drugs, and they have sensitivities to sexual violence.
So
All right.
not a lot of that in Mortal Kombat.
Right, Mortal
So
Kombat,
unless Goro
Mortal
starts
Kombat
doping,
is,
it's okay.
Right? Let's talk about the benefits of Mortal Kombat violence. It's really just straight. No one is trying to do anything terrible. They're just trying to kill each other in horrific ways.
It's true.
You know, in a spirit of sportsmanship and world saviorship.
Or domination, depending on which character you're playing.
Well, yes.
Well, all right then. So there you go. Mortal Kombat, heroes of anatomy lessons.
There's a box
and
quote. It's not about doing terrible things. It's just about killing each other straight. Ashley Jenkins.
Straight up killing. Yeah, okay. You work with what you got. All right. Well, I guess as far as sequels go, there's also a Borderlands 3 that's been confirmed.
The next
Meg.
big one is all they've said about it, and also it's going to be next gen, but they have not called
Current
it
gen.
Borderlands. I mean, yes, I'm sorry. Whoa, current gen.
But
Where
the-
am I?
But the article said confirmed.
It
I read a different article, I
Yeah.
guess.
No.
it was in a sales call.
Okay.
Right, this
Earnings call,
It was
yeah.
Yes.
It was Take-Two's earnings call, but they're all wibble-wobbling about it.
Yeah, they haven't confirmed the name Borderlands 3. They've only said it's the next big one, and it will be on current gen.
But considering that we've had like a pre-sequel at this point, like what? I mean, it's Borderlands 3,
It'll be Borderlands the sequel.
but the thing that the PAX South announcement where they were like, yeah, we'd like to make Borderlands 3. What that told me was that it's not in development. Probably not going to be in development still for a little bit, and at some point they should get some developers.
Well, and they're looking for people right now. Like they're like, you could be in the next Borderlands game. You could be, but they haven't. That to me again, like I agree with you. It means they haven't started it because they're still trying to build their team.
And that implies years away at this point.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. Nowadays, with how fast development cycles go, especially if they're going to reuse any of their previous engine, and depending on their assets are not nearly as heavy as several other games.
that's true. And if we're lucky, the release of the Handsome Collection will at least mean that they're adapting their engine for current gen consoles.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the first step to Borderlands 3. But they'll still have to go through asset building, story, all that stuff. They're losing their writer, possibly.
They lost him already to
well,
the
I mean, Anthony,
rocket jump.
Yeah, so Anthony Birch, who wrote Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel, has left Gearbox and is now working with Rocket Jump on their Hulu show.
Really? Mm-hmm. That's cool. Look
He
forward
was
to seeing wherever
also,
that is.
yeah, he was the co-star of Hey Ash, What You Playing? Which I feel like he has all these great accomplishments, but then I saw this tweet, I was like, hey Ash, what you playing? Like, I immediately, that's where I know him from.
Yeah, if only I didn't ever get that all the time.
Oh, that's probably true.
Then I wouldn't be like,
is it so hard to get what you're playing? It's not, shut up, Meg. Is that not your life? Oh, what are you playing? Oh, that's so hard. Oh.
we need to get something mean for Ryan for people to say, because all anyone ever says is like,
Really?
Ryan's devilishly handsome.
No,
Oh, great.
no.
Look how great Ryan looks
You
today.
see the people I work with, right? Like, mean is my life. I'm just in a bath of mean all the time.
But are they mean to you, or are they just scared of
Oh
you?
no, it's vicious personal attacks at all times.
I think I should go like
I
watch some
think
of
they
that.
have
It's a room
crushes
full
on
of
you.
hate.
That
It's a
sounds
room
nice.
full of hate.
Throw the rocks at
that's
you
it?
because they are like, oh, you're just so handsome.
Oh,
That's what Twitter's doing.
Twitter's always there for me. It says nice things.
But yeah, so
I love you,
Borderlands.
Twitter.
I'll let you give your moment
wanna
to the
do-
fan
we're good.
service.
We're
Do you want to do that again
We're
with that
done.
interruption for
No,
the
it's- we
for the
got it.
gifs? There's some heavy breathing
Well, I
for
needed
you.
some audio part of that.
Somebody
for the-
else breathe on the mic for once.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, Borderlands 3 will come. It's one of those things where it's like, we'll all be super excited for it,
Yeah.
but nobody's going to be surprised by it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like, hey, do you want more money? Yeah, I think I want more money. All right, we'll just put a 3 at the end. Okay.
Yep,
Half-Life 3 confirmed.
done. Why haven't they done that?
They don't
Let's
like
should-
threes.
Valve, man, Valve.
Three
They should be like,
Valve's
are we
unlucky number.
out of news? Why no Half-Life 3?
Well, I guess that's where we'll wrap it up then. Because I don't actually know if it's the end of the show or not, but it's somewhere around there.
I think we
We're
went
out
a
of
little
stands.
long.
Hey, control room, what are we at?
All right.
Like to wrap it up? All right, we're going to wrap it
We're
up.
good.
You guys,
Hey.
Oh
Half-Life
yeah, things full.
Half-Life 3
yeah.
is coming out.
Yeah,
We
confirmed.
decided.
Because of bye.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll be back
Oh.
next week with another episode. I think we're supposed to do this.
Yeah.
Gus would be upset if we didn't. We'll be back next Monday with another episode. No.